Reigns' next title defense has been set. We've got the backstage reaction to Logan Paul in WWE, and a WWE star is set to undergo a gimmick change. Stay tuned for the news. So we're going to kick things off this Saturday morning. We're back. It's been a while since we've both been sat here in the news studio. You were away in Cardiff, and then it was Ross last week, but it's nice to have you back, Sam. We're going to kick things off with Roman Reigns' next championship defense being set and being reported. Who he's going to face. Now, it's one that I don't think anyone really expected.
No, I was sitting here on the news yesterday going, I can see it being a challenge, and then maybe it turns into a whole thing on SmackDown, and then maybe a mini feud, but I don't see a pay-per-view match. And of course, I forgot all about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, you completely forgot all about that. And remember, this is 2022 in WWE. That anything, literally anything can happen. As you said yesterday on the news, it looks like it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul.
I mean, it is. They're calling a press conference. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer reported it. Fightful have confirmed it. The match is going to be taking place at Crown Jewel, Saudi Arabia, November 5th. Reigns versus Paul will be the headline bout, and WWE will make it official at the press conference in Vegas today. Saturday.
So today they've got a press conference. So last night, the official challenge from Logan Paul, who appeared on last night's show, was a challenge to Roman Reigns appearing at the press conference.
Yes.
And then it
was like Paul versus Paul. It was very mind-bending. There was a lot of Paul going on.
Yeah, and he sort of a lot of his follow-up challenges were like what if scenarios. They're like what if I challenge Roman Reigns for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship?
Yeah,
Heyman was not enjoying it. It was good to see Heyman back, but Paul also went on to ask what would happen if he could land that one lucky shot and drop Reigns, I like this line, like a sack of potatoes.
Oof. Yeah. I think it's one of those things where Logan Paul is continuing to, just move beyond the YouTube sphere into broader, sports and entertainment as a whole. He is somebody with, I know he swore there, pretty solid boxing credentials, he's a good boxer. So there's legitimate fighting skill there through wrestling, boxing. He's turned up in WWE and he's shocked everybody. I don't know if he's particularly what his chances are going to be like, given that the bloodline exists. But
Drew can win.
I
think it's a very exciting match. Logan Paul has only had 2 matches in WWE. He's had the one at WrestleMania, the one at SummerSlam. Having him in there with Reigns is a really good test of what he can do, because he's been in there with folk that can have a bit more of a comedic match that are not going to be something that the whole show relies around. Whereas this is going to really rely around, can Logan Paul go into the main event of a show and hold his own?
I think that the thing here as well is the main event status of this match is going to be, it's intriguing to anybody who knows of Logan Paul, particularly has an interest in Logan Paul, but maybe doesn't actively watch wrestling. They may, tune in for it. There's a lot of things that go into promotion, obviously, and hype and build up, but I'm liking that we're getting more press conference style things going on. I think that it's given it much more realistic sports feel. And I think that it's just an easy way, and I imagine fairly cheap way compared to conventional marketing way to build that level of hype with the public.
Absolutely.
Right? And there's a lot of press in town anyway, so
I mean, it's one thing that it's as you said, it gets the out of the world of wrestling, gets their eyes on it, and if Logan Paul calls a press conference, folk are going to pay attention.
Plus, it's like, hey, you like Logan Paul? Tune in, he might win. You don't like Logan Paul? Tune in, watch Roman Reigns destroy him.
I'm like,
it's sort of like how Elvis's manager would sell pro Elvis and anti Elvis merchandise to capitalize on both sides.
Exactly. Well, we've also got the backstage reaction to Logan Paul in WWE. Kofi Kingston has shed a little bit of light with TMZ recently about Logan Paul being in WWE, whether he's loved or hated or, all that sort of malarkey. But Kofi said, to me, it just makes sense when you think about how popular Logan Paul is. Even his entire story has come up with what he's been able to do in the world of boxing and entertainment in general. It would only make sense for us to be hand in glove. What else did he say, though, Sam?
He said he has a bright future. To see what he did in the ring is very impressive, especially as a performer who's seen a lot of people and has gone through the whole learning process. He shouldn't be that good that quickly. And this is the thing that's what shocked everybody, right? Like, it's the type of thing where, you know, Triple H was talking about Bad Bunny being at the Performance Center every day. Like, like it's one of those things where the new crop of celebrity talent, we've said it several times now, just seem to actively want to be part of it. And there's nothing cooler than that, I guess. Like it's much better than having somebody turn up, say the line, get the name of the pay-per-view wrong, and leave. Like, or the various months long guest GMs of Raw. And
terrible,
we've been through some terrible times. I think we no matter your opinion on Logan Paul or Bad Bunny or any of the celebrities involved these days that seem to be going hell for leather, I think you can't argue they don't. They're doing the work, it seems.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's no way you just get in a ring and you can just hit three amigos a splash like that. Like,
he's got some skill, so it's good to see that the backstage reaction to him is positive. It seems like loads of people have really good things to say. I mean, of course, Kofi Kingston staying it there, but moving from one Kingston to another. Next week's AEW Grand Slam, we're finally getting to see a grudge match between Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston. Now, this match was set to take place at AEW All Out, but they had a little backstage altercation, not the one that everyone's been talking about.
Not that one.
There was another one, because we've got to have so many these days. But that led to Eddie Kingston quietly being suspended and the match at All Out being cancelled.
To be honest, I'd say this was the cooler one because this one happened first.
Yeah,
guys.
It was the hipster one. It was before backstage
I like backstage
cool.
fights before they were cool. Yeah.
But this one, it looks like it's going to be a really good match. As much as people seem to be, crapping on Sammy Guevara the past year, it seems like this one's going to be quite a fun one. Eddie Kingston's always great. Who do you think's going to win?
I can't ever pick against Kingston. I can't. There's like a defect within me that no matter what, I just want Eddie Kingston to win.
Yeah, I really hope he does. But
just do it for the bigger lads, Eddie.
Yeah,
go out there and smash it.
Just batter him. But also an AEW Grand Slam. It will be a 2-hour special, so it's going to be a massive week of wrestling. I don't envy the boys on the podcast. But also announced for the show was the Golden Ticket Battle Royal, which will earn the winner a future AEW World Championship opportunity.
Always a fan of a Battle Royal.
Yeah, we love a Battle Royal, but that's so many multi-man matches now that it's always like you get a title shot, but not now. Not now.
Just wait. Just wait. We need to get an orderly queue going because queues are coming into fashion now.
We all love a queue. The queues are very
15
popular.
hours or something.
24 now. But we're going to stick with AEW. We've got a little update on Kenny Omega's backstage heat. Now, I believe you reported on this yesterday on the news. A source close to Cultaholic has given a little bit more of an insight into what happened and basically corroborates Dave Meltzer's report. The meeting that Kenny Omega led a few weeks ago, the source confirmed...
He didn't lead the meeting.
Oh, sorry,
He spoke at a talent meeting.
Correct, yes, sorry. But the source confirmed to us that the comment about the 8 out of 10 people who work here was done as a joke. Yeah. The source confirming that Omega pointed to Will Ospreay during this exchange, and he said the line, "Will doesn't even work here and could wrestle circles around all of you," which I think really highlights a joke in that, but also maybe a line of seriousness.
I think the more that I look at it, the more it just feels like it's a sort of poorly timed joke that hasn't gone over well with people. Yeah. The source went on to say, went on to admit that while the line was rather harsh, he was asked to voice his opinion about the roster and the rest of his comments, that's Kenny, at the meeting, and came across as him defending AEW and that he isn't happy with how the company turned out to be, with him voicing his opinion on those that have no respect for the company or Tony Khan. We'd heard, I think when it was initially sort of rumored, it was this tough love speech, and it was, it's an uncomfortable truth type thing. I get, there are times for that, and this was likely, the right time to do it, but I wasn't in the room, but I think it might just be, given what we've heard, like it's just sort of gone down like a bit of a lead balloon. Yeah,
I guess he was trying to cut the tension with a knife, and it didn't quite work. But that's the update on Kenny Omega. We're going to go over to SmackDown side of things now. Now, last week we spoke about a slight gimmick change possibly coming to a character.
I don't want
SmackDown.
I don't want it.
We've been big fans here on the Saturday news team about Maximum Male Models. Max
That's
Dupree.
Right. That's right.
But he has teased the return once again to the LA Knight character. Now, Ross was delighted last week when I sat here and spoke about it with him. But during last night's SmackDown...
That's why he's my ex-husband.
That's why. Yeah. That's why he's the ex.
He's got no belief in Maximum Male Models.
I love the Maximum Male
Shameful.
Models. But last
I'd divorce all of you too. I'd divorce all of you too.
that's the news here. But last night's SmackDown took place in Anaheim, California, and Max Dupree was in the ring cutting a promo in which he said the line, "Just a stone's throw away from LA."
And then he fell into a bit of I don't know, like a mental inward universe for a little bit while, you know, the spinning wheel appeared. And Maxine had to proper give him a bit of a shove.
It's interesting. I wasn't the biggest fan of LA Knight in NXT.
Yeah.
It's hard to deny, though. People loved him.
Look, I think LA Knight returning, just on a serious level, like straight up, I think it's the better route to go. Unfortunately, as much as I love Maximum Male Models, does it really need him?
I think it did at the start,
but not now. And I think that, you know, his skills are better used in a more insularly driven, you know, looking after himself and looking out for himself in that manner. I want to see that promo game come back. I want to see that LA Knight. I think that it'd be just much better in terms of having additional, you know, singles competitors that aren't just sort of tied up as this weird quasi-manager thing. But you know, I either way, you know, I like Maximum Male Models, but it was only a matter of time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of run its course with him in the role.
Yeah,
and which is a shame because it's only been around for a couple months.
Well, the whole thing was, you know, he originally came in and then got bumped for Maxine and then came back with Maxine, and it was like, okay, well, whatever. But it's sort of, I think Eli Drake, LA Knight is the better route to go for him in terms of, you know, singles potential for sure. The guy's just waiting for that first title, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. But we're going to stick with the topic of gimmick changes because it seems to be the topic of discussion on SmackDown or WWE recently. Another WWE star set to undergo a gimmick change, with PW Insider reporting that Ezekiel is no longer a member of WWE's internal roster. But don't worry, because someone else is. Now remember, who is it, Sam?
So yeah, Ezekiel, given that he's no longer there, that kind of seems to indicate that Ezekiel is done. It does appear, however, that Elias will be returning, as his name is back on the internal roster, so we could see a return of the Drifter character potentially. It's unknown when Elias will return to WWE. Ezekiel hasn't been seen since Kevin Owens attacked him and sent him to the hospital.
Saw his whole family.
There's a bit of a beard that has to come in here. It's nowhere near as big as it used to be. Like toward the end, he trimmed it down. But like there's quite. I don't know what his beard growth's like, but for me that would take years.
I'd be all year just trying to get that. Like that's him on the shelf, but due to lack of beard.
The other thing as well is, you know, there's many ways you can take a character like Elias. I'm surprised they didn't really try and double down on any form of, not that it's timely, of course, at all, but artist formerly known as style stuff. We've not seen Elias go through a genre change. We've not seen Elias have like a career crisis as a musician. There's so many things you can do with just a musician character. You know, could you imagine if he comes out and he's just trying different things?
He's a rap star.
Yeah, like
rap now.
It'd probably be kind of cringe in places, but I think there'd be a lot of gold there as well. But at the same time, if we got the Drifter back, I'm happy.
Yeah,
I love Elias.
He was good fun. As much as Ezekiel was fun, it's kind of run its course. It's kind of done everything the character can do. But that is all the news for Video 1. We will be back later on this afternoon with some news. Stay tuned. The press conference for Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns is on today, so maybe go and watch that as well. But we will be back later. In the meantime, we'll see you later.
Bye.